we're ready for our teaching portion of week 2 of our over easy socks for the red and white sock scrimmage. And tonight we're going to take a look at the toe, answer any questions you have, get some feedback of how things went for you. But we will look at the toe and the toe construction, and then we will also lead into how to pick up those side edges as well. So your mission and goal would be that get your toe done this week and then get your side picked up. Is that right, Steph? So they're ready for the heel next week.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. All right. So were there any other questions or things as you worked on your sock that you found confusing? Jackie Newman?
Okay, so, and I don't think this one counts because I used my cheap yarn, so I don't think it counts as a finished one, but I found the heel to be really baggy. And I think I remember Steph saying that she went down a size. And so that's what I'm doing for my second sock to just kind of see how it goes for fit. But I didn't know if anybody that had finished one kind of found the same issue. And does that kind of mean like, so if there's a lot of room in the heel, does that mean you're more flat-footed?
It could be, because my Aunt Joanne there, she had thought the same thing. She has really flat feet and no instep, and she thought that the heel was too baggy on her foot. So she, on her second one, is doing just the regular shadow wrap heel.
Okay.
And seeing if she likes that better. Another suggestion from the designer was either, to go down a size or go down a needle size. And then also it could be, does it just look baggy, or is it when you have it on?
No, when you have it on, it's
okay,
too big.
Because she was saying that can be if your instep is a little bit too long too.
Oh, okay.
So this is what we knew about this heel. Was bifurcated? Is that right, Steph?
Yeah.
More room. So you're right. You might make it. And next week when we get to the heel, you might make it. And then you might say, I don't like how this heel fits. Or you might think it's the best thing, that you might do all your heels this way from this point forward. This is more about kind of that exposure. So Jackie, that's good learning for you to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, so I want to try it again. So like I said, I went down a size, and I'll maybe be sure not to go, because I think I did go way too long on the instep, just because you feel like you're not having enough.
Yeah.
And Steph, what did you, because I know you said you're a size 10.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you do your instep?
I did mine 6 inches from where that heel marker was.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did anybody else have questions that came up? This week was pretty straightforward, actually. But anything else with your over easy socks? Okay. So Steph, what are we gonna learn tonight? You want to talk about the toe, and then I'll show my video.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna learn about the toe. I mean, really, if you're familiar with the shadow wrap heel, that's exactly what we're going to be doing for the toe. It's just the numbers are different. So you're going to be doing twin stitches and then triple stitches. And I thought that was kind of fun because I had never done a toe like that before, and I like how it fits. And the designer said too, she chose the shadow wrap for her short rows because she thought that looked the nicest. So she experimented with all kinds of different types of short rows and didn't like how the others looked as much as this one. So that's why she decided on this type of toe.
Okay. So I have filmed, I'm going to film I filmed portion of the toe. I know many of us are familiar with it, but there's a few things that, I think might be helpful for you. So we'll take a look at that. And then after we look at that, then we will talk about how to pick up those side edges, because you most likely will get through your toe, no problem. And then you're going to want to do the next portion of our section. So here we go. Here's our red. I'm not on the white team, so I'm moving my volleyball to the red team, which then means that the score has changed. So it has become 9 now to 15. Go Team Red. And of course, that's all changed now. All right, so let's take a look at our toe here. I have knit the rolled edge, the front cuff, ribbing, and then the instep of the over easy socks. And you'll recall the placement of these markers are for the end of the rolled edge, the end of the ribbed cuff, and then the placement of the heel. I did add the extra rows in here to see if I can get this to come up a little higher on my foot. So I added 4 extra rows in here and then knit down. This is actually 4 inches. I think the pattern calls for 3.5. I'm still working on finding my right fit, so I'm going to try this. And I did steam this, and that helps just it lay flat. It will really make a difference when it comes to picking up these edge stitches later on. So I'm done with my length, and now I'm ready to add my contrasting color. But before you do that, you turn to the right side row, and it's at the bottom of page 5. It says the next wrong side row, and you slip one with yarn in front, and then you're going to purl to the last stitch. So we will purl to the last stitch. It's important to read the pattern. I know that sounds silly, but I have a tendency not to read. I have a tendency to think I know what I'm doing, and then I don't stop to read the fine points. And so you'll notice that at the end of this page, or at the end of this row, it says with CC. So that's meaning contrasting color, knit 1. And you would want to do that so that it will maintain a good edge and look correct when you do your toe. So here I am. I've done my last, purl to the last stitch. I'm going to drop the working yarn, and I'm going to pick up my contrasting, which I'm going to do this neon, calling these my Halloween socks. And I'm just going to knit that last stitch. It doesn't say to knit it any special way, just like we would normally do on our back side. Wow, these things look fluorescent. Okay, so it's going to be kind of loosey-goosey here. And then you're going to turn, and the next row is with the contrasting color. So I'm going to be using my new color. I would repeat row 1, which is slip 1 with yarn in front, knit to the last stitch, do what we have been doing. So we'll do that, and we'll come back and we'll talk about how we're going to work on the toe. Okay, Steph, would you give reference, you put those markers in, when do those markers become important?
When you're working up the backside, and I think you'll put another set once you finish those next couple rows by the toe, because sometimes it's hard to tell when you come back around where that first join needs to be.
Okay, so same way, when you get up to those heel, that heel marker, then that's why you're putting those in now. So seems like a lot of markers, but it does become important. And the extra rows, when I put those extra rows in there, you put the extra rows so it would come up higher on your ankle, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you did your measurements, do you do your measurements then from the ribbing, or do you do your measurements from the end of those 4 rows?
From the end of the 4 rows, wherever you decide you're placing your heel marker, that's where you want to start your measuring for the instep.
Okay, that's what I did. That's what I thought. I need to ask Steph that. So, okay, very good. Let's go on. All right. I've completed the right side row and the wrong side row with the contrasting color. And in between those rows, you're to put your marker, another set of markers, placed on those last stitches that mark the end of the instep. This is all going to be kind of loosey-goose because you've got all these yarns that you've introduced. I'm not going to be doing any weaving in as I go. I simply want to get the toe accomplished. The toe is a short row shaping toe. So those of you that have done the shadow wrap heel, it's exactly that. But I'm going to walk you through a few of these. The first short row 1, short row 2, short row 3, and short row 4, and then you would repeat that to build your toe. So you are going to continue to do, we're on toe shaping, part 1, short row 1, right side, slip 1 with yarn in front. So you've got to bring the yarn to the front, and I am to knit 9. So I'm going to go 1. So you slip, you don't count that first one. That's just counted as a slip. And then you knit 9. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. And then this pattern asks us to place a marker. So we'll place a marker, and then I'm going to knit 9 again. Eight, 9, I'm just going to double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and then place a marker again. I don't have matching markers, so that will be okay. Place a marker again, and then knit to the last 2 stitches. The last stitch, 2 stitches, and then make a twin stitch turn. So if you'll recall how we make our twin stitch, we go down the row below, we pick up the right leg of that stitch, we put it up on the needle. I like to keep my fingernail on this stitch here so that it doesn't drift. Then I knit into that lifted stitch. I put it back on, and now it has become a twin stitch. So she states in the pattern, you'll have 1 unworked stitch, which is there, and 1 twin stitch. Okay, now we're ready for short row 2, wrong side. So we're going to turn it back, and she asks us to purl to the last 2 stitches. So we're going to purl across, and we will simply move the markers as we come to them. And we're going to go all the way to the last 2 stitches. If you're comfortable with the short row, you really don't need to have the markers. This is an opportunity for you to watch my continental purling. Now, some folks struggle with continental purling, You can kind of see that I trap it down. It down. Last 2 stitches. And then we're going to twin stitch again. So to twin stitch on the purl side, you have to move that stitch over. Then I kind of get rid of that yarn just to make it easier to see. Then I come in and I pick up that purl bump, which is the actual right leg of that stitch, pull it out, and then I'm going to purl into that stitch. Now I've got to put both of those stitches back on the needle, back to the left side, and then she states you should have one unworked stitch, which we have, and 1 twin stitch at the end of that row. Now we're ready for short row 3. And this will be where we knit to the twin stitch. So you can see I've got this guy, he's got his buddy there. And so I will knit to 1 stitch before the next twin stitch and do our twin stitch as we have done it. And it's going to be just very similar to how we do our short row heel. It's exactly, actually. You've got these markers in there so that it tells you repeat short rows 3 and 4 another 7 times or whatever it is for you until all the outside stitches of the toe markers are worked with a twin stitch, with the exception of 1 unworked at each end of the following. Remove the toe markers and 1 unworked stitch on each side. And then you can begin your, the toe shaping part 2, which we'll take a look at. So we're going to go down here and we'll do the 1 twin stitch again, and then we'll just keep working back and forth. So you can leave your markers in if you're confident and you know what you're doing. You wouldn't have to do that. We lift, hold, knit into that lifted stitch, put them back on, and you've got a twin. Now I'm going to keep working across and then we'll come back and take a look. Okay, I've completed the toe shaping part 1, which is where you build up your toe. And you can see I have a little bit of rowing out, which is sometimes what happens when we purl. Don't get it quite as tight with it. I think that the markers were kind of bothering me a bit there, but I've completed the short row 4. Now I'm ready for toe shaping part 2, short row 1, right side. It says knit to the next twin stitch. And, you know, now we can remove our markers. I would remove my markers. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. You can leave it in if you'd like, but I will knit to the next twin stitch. And then she states knit 1, meaning knit all the strands together. So let's give that a look. Here we are, remove that marker. I know that that's my next twin stitch. And I always pull that down just a little bit so that I can get in to knit both of those together. Tighten that up. And then it says make a twin stitch. Now this is really a triple stitch. So I looked on the pattern to kind of make sure, but she does have, you know, she could say a triple stitch here, but this is really a triple stitch because you're going to put a third buddy there, but you do it the same way. You reach down, you put it up on the needle, you knit into that, and then you put it back, and now you've got triple. So you've got 3 stitches there, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to turn for short row shaping 2, and you will purl across until you find that first twinned stitch. And and you will purl to the next twin stitch, and then you will purl them all together. Here we are. There's the twin stitch from before. I'm going to purl it together as one. And then I'm going to triple this stitch, this twin stitch here. So again, you move it over. You're going to lift up the bump, the purl bump, purl into that. Now you've got 3. You put those 3 back on, and then you'll turn and you'll start working your way back down. So you'll knit across until you find this tripled stitch. You'll knit all of those strands together. So let's go do that. Because again, that's sometimes tricky. And lots of times when we run into problems with our heel, or in this case, our toe, it's because we don't catch all 3 of those strands. So get across, here I am. Again, I give it a little bit of a pull down. And I'm going to make sure I get my needle into all 3 of those strands, knit them together. That, pull it tight, you start to get a little bubble, and you'll turn around and you'll work all the way back down, creating your toe. I found my toe in my other sock to be about 1 3/4 inches. So again, this is about learning our numbers, but we'll finish working this and then we'll be ready to start working up the rest of our sock. Okay. So that was just a review of how to do it. If you need more specifics, you can go to the Earth Tone Girls, and she can walk you through those as well. I didn't get any more of it finished. So Steph, do you want to review? I will film it and attach it tomorrow morning, but do you want to review once you've worked the heel? Then it says your final right side toe row and your final wrong side toe row. What do you do?
The final right side toe row, you just knit across to the end. And then the final wrong side row, you slip one with yarn in front and purl to the end. And then after that, you're going to start the joining of the sole.
Okay. All right.
So
We're going to do that, and I'm going to let Steph walk it through, and I'll do it. I'm further up. This is my sock that I worked on. I had to switch to a different sock because it was too dark to see. And so it didn't work to show, but we'll show you as best I can. And then I will film on the new sock. And tomorrow when you get this, when this is published on YouTube, then you can watch the actual one on the easier to see one. And I have to tell you that I struggled knitting this sock because I didn't like the color as much as I like the one I'm working on now. And I find that that's interesting because you know, we do know that we like to work with things that we like. And I had trouble knitting this sock, and I think it was because of the color. And it's not that I don't like the colors, but I just didn't like the colors. I don't know how to explain it. So Steph, I am ready for, let's see where I'm at. Looks like I am ready for a wrong side row. Is everybody seeing this okay? See it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you can walk me through what to do, and I'll try to make sure that I'm showing it in the screen. So this will give you guys an idea of what you will be doing. Okay.
Okay, so you slip one with the yarn in front, and then you just purl till you get to the last stitch.
So the slipping is different this time, isn't it? Right?
Yes, on the right side rows, instead of slipping it in front, you're going to slip it in back. But the purl rows are the same, where you slip it in front.
And do you have an idea why we do that?
I don't know.
I know. And what will we be looking for when we get down to this edge?
You are going to flip the last stitch.
So I get
And
to
then
the
you're
last
gonna,
stitch.
yeah.
Okay. And I what? Slip it over.
Okay. Yep. So you slip it, and then
Okay.
you're going to pick up the selvage stitch. And on the purl side, you're going to go through it from the back to the front.
So I'm seeing my selvage stitch as this one and this. So you go through the V, right? It's the whole
Yep.
stitch would be considered a V.
Yep.
And
You want to make sure you're getting both bars.
how do I know that it's not this guy?
You kind of have to pull it up to see, and then you can tell like, oh, I already went through that stitch.
Well, I can kind of see that I've got that gray stitch there. So I'm going to go to the next one and I come from behind, from back to
Mhm.
front. Okay, and then what do? I've got a slip stitch and I've got that stitch. What do I do next?
So the one that you just picked up, you're going to purl it.
Those two things together.
Yeah, the bars that you picked up, you're going to purl that.
Okay. All right. It's awkward, Steph.
I know.
It's actually awkward until you get used to it. So
Yeah, you get used to it.
So I put the needle behind, the left needle behind, and then I purl those two together. Okay, now I've
Yep.
got the slip stitch and those purled stitches together.
And now you purl those together.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And for some reason, on the wrong side rows, I didn't have trouble remembering that, but on the right side rows, but on the wrong side rows, I would sometimes forget that extra step to purl those together. So it's a good idea when you're just getting used to it to count your stitches after your wrong side rows and make sure you still have the correct number, because your
So we
stitch
should have the
count
correct
shouldn't
numbers.
change.
Yeah, okay. All right, so then I turn. And now I'm ready for the right side, row 1 of the sole. And so
Okay.
what do I do with this?
So you slip with the yarn in back,
Okay.
and then you knit across till you get to the last stitch.
And I don't know about you, Stephanie, but I found this side to be the easier one.
It was, yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go across. And what do I do when I get to the end?
You're going to slip the last stitch knitwise.
So this is different. The other one was purlwise. So on the purl side, you slip it purlwise. On the knit side, you slip it as if to knit. So here I am. I'm to the last stitch. So I slip it knitwise. That turns it. And then
same thing, you're going to find your next selvage stitch. Make sure you're picking up both bars, and this time you're going to go from back to front, or front to back.
Front to back,
Right.
yeah. Front to back. Right. So I can see that this guy is engaged. There's a gray stitch there. Sorry if it's not too clear. And I find if I roll it up, it's easier to see that V. So I remember I blocked mine a bit, but if you roll it and you look kind of on top, you can see there's your V. So I do a pickup, right? So I go
Pick
in,
up and knit.
pick up and knit under the V. Whoop. Maybe. Okay, now I've got the 2 on. And then I knit those 2 together.
Yes. Through the back, yeah.
Yeah, like through the back loop. Okay.
Yep.
And then that creates that really nice edge along here. And then you're just going to keep doing that. I want to show you. I didn't do it quite right there. And what I did wrong here is I did not pick up a knit. I just knit it together with the 2 strands, the 2 strands of the V. And you can see that this sock is pretty lumpy. because I wasn't getting the right V's always. So I adjusted by rolling, and I think you said that too, Steph. You rolled it up so that you could see those V's. Then I will continue on, and ideally I should end up at the same marker here, right here.
Should.
Yep, you're gonna stop one stitch before that. So you're not gonna work into the one with the marker.
Okay.
It's the one right before it. But
And
then
that's where we do the
you
heel.
stop to put the heel in. Yep.
Okay. So your mission this week is to get it worked to that point. If you want to wait to see the heel together. Now, what do you do if you don't end up right?
Budget.
Meaning?
Yeah, I mean, I think I messed up on at least my first ones, but like if you went into maybe the same stitch twice, then it's okay to skip the next one. It's still going to stay together. So something like that is okay.
Okay. Okay, have we thoroughly scared everyone?
Angie, I did the same. I had to knit at the end another row because I had one extra on the one side. So I just went into the same hole on the other side to get it even. And you don't even notice it. It's fine.
Okay, so don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it if you're off a little bit. So I know, Valerie, you have two ready to go, right? You're going to do your two at the same time. Oh, can't hear you.
I'm going to try. I did my toe and realized my sock was super short. It was really short. But I'm only doing 25 stitches across because I have such a narrow foot and I can't use the same length measurements as the width measurements because I have a size 7.5 foot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I took the toe off and now I'm making it longer.
Okay.
But that is my plan.
All
Long
right.
story short.
And how did you feel that why did you feel that it was short? How did you know that?
Well, because the toe is super short. It's not a regular size toe.
Mhm.
And that my instep didn't even come here. I'm pointing to my feet. My instep didn't even come to my toes yet.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm increasing it about 3/4 of an inch is what I'm doing.
All right. So
So
this
yeah,
is
it's touch and go figuring out this first one.
it's the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And Steph, you discovered a lot in knitting yours. The first, how many have you done now? 4?
Yeah, 4 pairs. So I learned a little bit from each one what I liked or didn't like. So it takes a bit to find the fit. I was just thrilled that my first one were close enough that they actually work. I can wear them because I didn't know what I was going to end up with when I started them.
Great. Any
I've got
other?
a feeling mine are a bit too short as well. I definitely feel that they're too short. But they'll just go to someone with a smaller foot.
Yeah. Any other questions about
Yeah.
what we showed you, Jackie?
Can you repeat what you said on the short toe? Did you just make your instep longer?
You're on mute, Val. Yeah, she's gonna make it longer. She's gonna
Yes.
make it longer.
Yeah. I'm using the length measurements for my size foot, but I shortened the width to 25 stitches across.
Got it.
But-
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have questions before you embark on this journey this week? So remember, if you complete a sock, even though it's shorty, it counts as one because we got some mental thinking that goes with this. So if you complete a pair, you get to count both of them as a full-size sock because it again, it's a little bit of a brain, makes our brain work, which is great. Great.
But we decided just your first pair would count as single socks, correct?
Right. All right, Kay, I think we need to have a drawing, and we're giving away some $10 gift certificates tonight. And we have you pulled all the names of everybody that introduced themselves.
Everyone that introduced themselves, they're in here. And
Okay.
the team that had the most introductions is here.
Okay. All right. So we're drawing from everybody for a $10 gift certificate. So, okay, we'll let you, since you're there, you can draw. Look at all those names. Thank you for sharing on our Ravelry. That was fabulous. Okay. The winner of a $10 gift certificate is
Donna.
Donna Yates. All right. Very good. We'll let Donna know. We'll put it in the Ravelry thread. Congratulations. All right. And then which was the winning team? Who had the most introductions? Okay.
Oh,
Who
the
had,
winning team was red by,
was
it was 12 to 10.
Oh gosh. It's a tight competition. All right. And our winner here can't be the same person.
Oh. Kim Klein.
Kim Klein. All right, Kim. Kim is from South Dakota. So congratulations. So this week, I want you to share your progress. So share your picture, share your progress, and we'll be drawing for some baby bees. And if we end up with, let's see, you had what? You had about 24, didn't you? So if we end up with 25 shares, we'll draw for 5 baby bees. So share your progress along the way, share your picture, show us what's happening. Come on, ask your questions. That's a great place to ask questions. Many of you found your way over there, and post your pictures. Post your progress, and progress pictures will count towards drawing for 5 different baby bees, and that will be 5 different winners, not all the same person. So we'll get this ready maybe a little later tomorrow until we can do that taping. I'll tape of the picking up the V's a little more so that you can see that, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, for the heel. So get your sock to the heel point, and then we're going to really find out how those heels fit when you all have a chance to try them on. So, okay, everyone, thanks for being on. Happy
Thank
sock
you.
week. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Kay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.